Hey quilters, I love quilting. I really do, but here's the thing. Sometimes it feels like it takes forever. I start with the plan, I pick out the perfect fabrics, I get everything set up, and then something always happens. So if this sounds painfully familiar, today I'm going to share my 5 game-changing tips that will help you finish your quilts faster even if you have zero extra time in your schedule right now. I'm Kristen with ICStarsQuilting.com. Welcome to my channel. I share tips, tricks, and tutorials for the modern quilter. If you have ever abandoned a quilt project halfway through or felt like you wanted to abandon a quilt project halfway through, go ahead and hit that like button so that I know that I'm not the only one, okay? I used to think that it was just me. Like, maybe I wasn't disciplined enough. Maybe I was too dedicated to my housework. I was coming up with all of these different reasons why I wasn't the quilter that I thought I could be. I had to find ways to work smarter, not harder, because who doesn't have a million other things on their plate at any given moment? Here's what actually works, because I could spend videos and like conversations with you telling you what doesn't work, but you already know what doesn't work, right? So let's skip all that. Tip number 1 is to use pre-cut fabrics. If you just want to quilt, okay, you just want to quilt, you want to skip all of that other stuff, go for the jelly rolls, go for the layer cakes and the charm pack. Instead of spending the hours cutting and measuring, you can jump straight into the sewing, which is a big time saver. So less cutting equals more quilting. Some people really love cutting fabric. It's therapeutic. There is a certain calming mechanism in your brain where you just do the same motion over and over and over again, and when you get that perfect size, some dopamine goes off and things are really good. But if you just want to get to the good parts, pre-cuts are going to be a game changer for you. Tip number 2 is chain piecing equals sewing on turbo mode. It's like an assembly line. Instead of stopping after every single seam, you just keep feeding fabric through your sewing machine. No stopping, no cutting the threads, no less starting over and over again, just more progress. I have a video on how to chain piece your quilt blocks after you get all the blocks put together. It keeps things organized until you can take the time to really go back and nest your corners and all of that. It's a great video. I'm going to put a link across the top of the screen for you so you can go watch that after you watch this video, okay? Moving on to tip number 3 is to create a quilting flow zone. So if you've ever spent more time looking for your scissors than actually using your scissors, yeah, same. All right, high five. Absolutely. Here's the fix. I want you to set up a quilting flow zone. The tools that you use most often would be your rotary cutter, your thread, your rulers, and your scissors, okay? Keep those right next to your machine. You can even get a little basket that goes right on your sewing table. So there's no distractions, no searching, just sewing. I actually have a set of drawers over here, but I found that even with the set of drawers, I didn't always put my tools back in those set of drawers. I put them on the table next to my sewing machine because I was fully planning to go and grab them again in just a minute. Well, the thing is, when I needed to find them, I would go to look for them in the drawer, but they weren't there. So I had to change that. I now have a basket that sits right next to my sewing machine with my most used tools in it, including my seam ripper, because that's one that I didn't mention earlier. But yeah, we use that one a lot. This is tip number 4. If you want to finish your quilt today, machine binding is the way to go. It's fast, it's durable, and it's done. I also have a video on machine binding if you want to see how I do that step by step. Another bonus type tip is that I use 3-inch binding is what I start with, not the typical 2 1/4 or 2.5 inch binding. I use 3-inch binding when I do my binding on my machine. It's been a game changer for me. It works great. So go watch that video when you get an opportunity. It's faster than the traditional hand quilted binding, and it's good for those quilters who don't like to have projects lingering for long periods of time. Okay, the last tip that I have for you is a bonus one, and it is to quilt in timed sprints. So if distractions keep pulling you away from your projects, I want you to try this. Set a 20-minute timer and quilt in sprints. I often will set like a Netflix series or something up on my phone while I'm sewing, so I have that timer, even though it's not like a timer, I have that timed session that I'm quilting until that video goes off. And it's like a game. And you know what? Maybe I'm all of like 5 years old, but it works for me. Okay. So if I know that I am allowing myself to quilt in this specific little time bubble, I'm going to do as much as I can to quilt in that time bubble. I'm not going to get up and go check on something else. I'm not going to think, oh, I really should go get the mail. No, I only have this amount of time to work on my quilt, and it turns it into a game for me, and it works. So small bursts of time equals actually like big progress in the long run. So there you have it, 5 easy ways plus a couple bonus tips to help you finish your quilt faster. Which one are you going to be trying first? Drop a comment down below. Make sure that you subscribe to my channel because I have lots more videos coming your way, lots more tips and things that I'm sharing from my everyday quilting life to help you with yours. Thank you so much for watching. Happy quilting. I will see you next week. Same time, same place. I'm Kristen with IC Stars Quilting. Have a great day. Bye.